Hi guys, welcome to Distance Learning Day 2 of Civics. Going to be trying out a lot of different things, and I figured I'd try this Screencastify. I've never done it before, so congratulations, you are my guinea pigs. Um, and I've got about 5 minutes per clip, so there may be a part two. There will be a part two, maybe a part three. I'll try and be as brief as possible. So, thank you everybody who did the assignment on Monday. We're going to return back to what we were learning about before school was dismissed. And if you remember, we were looking at a lot of the problems colonists had with England, think taxes, and the last class we had, you guys looked at the Declaration of Independence. Well, fast forward, America has now won the Revolutionary War, and they are now independent, and they're trying to figure out what the heck are we going to do with our new government? How are we going to create this new government? So here are some of the things they were looking for. They wanted somebody who has enough power to do its job, but they didn't want them to have too much power. They wanted all the needs of the states to be considered. And then, as a result, obviously, they wanted citizens to have a say, and they wanted their individual rights to be protected. And this is a big one because think about what was going on with England. The colonists felt like their rights weren't being protected, right? They didn't have any representation in the British government. They didn't have any say in what the British government did, and they thought it was unfair. They were being taxed for something they had no say in. All right, so I'm going to start reading. Please follow along with me. There is also an attachment on Google Classroom with the same exact reading, so you can read this independently as well if you don't want to listen to me. All right, here we go. Independent citizens seek awesome government. When the American colonists gained their independence from the British after the Revolutionary War, the Americans were faced with a problem. What kind of government should they have? They'd lived for years under the British rule and they had lots of complaints. Now they would create a government from scratch, and they had a few requirements. Independent citizens seek weak government. And I just want to circle weak because, believe it or not, they didn't want a government that was all that powerful. They thought it was really important that the government didn't abuse their power. You got to remember they were coming from uh, the British government, who they thought had way too much power and was abusing their power. All right. So their experience under heavy-handed British rule left the newly independent Americans a little bit skittish. Basically, they wanted a government that couldn't do too much. They started by drafting a document called the Articles of Confederation. A confederation is a group of individuals united together for a purpose. In this case, the 13 states that had been British colonies before the war. The Articles of Confederation explained how the 13 states would govern as one nation. Here are the basics. Each state was independent and had its own government. Each state would represent the government, or it would, I'll start again. Each state would send representatives to the Congress of the Confederation, a lawmaking body. Congress was the only branch of government, no president or courts. In Congress, each state has one vote. So as you can see, definitely. So first of all, Articles of Confederation was our first attempt at a government. And as you can see, there were definitely some differences. The states themselves were almost like their own countries, although they were loosely connected. And you can see one connection was uh, sending one representative to the Congress of the Confederation to make laws. But here's a big difference. There was no president, no courts. And, you know, they didn't want rule from a king, and they saw the president as a king. I'm about to run out of time. Part two will resume momentarily.